What's up, fellas? This week we're back with Dana White's Contender Series Week 5. Trying to make some money this week. And honestly, there's been better cards. But we're trying to make some money. Don't really care about the prospects as much. And for our first fight of the night, we have Dione Barbosa going against Rainn Guerrero. Dione Barbosa is coming into this fight on short notice. But I do believe she has a much better ground game and is a much more well-rounded fighter than Rainn Guerrero. And she has also faced much better competition. She should be a favorite, but the only concerns that she is stepping in on short notice, and I'm not sure how her cardio will be on a fight that I expect to go the full 15 minutes. But she's my pick to win this fight, and probably by decision, or maybe get this fight to the ground to get a sub. We look at the odds. The odds have Dione as a minus 340 favorite, Rainn plus 270. The fight doesn't go to decision, where the fight to go to decision is sitting at minus 280. And this is a women's MMA fight, so good luck on you, especially a low-level one that it is. Next up, we got Silva versus Kevin Vallejos. I see this fight as an absolute war, where both fighters go in there trying to get the first round knockout. Both fighters are very young as well. Kevin is only 21 years old, and Jean is 26. I don't think the UFC has a preference on who wins. Maybe if you had to pick one, it would be Kevin, due to he has a pretty undefeated record from Argentina, 21 years old. But both fighters are exciting. Jean has 100% finish rate, so should be a fun fight. As for a pick, though, I do have to go with Kevin to win this fight by KO, just because I do believe he has a cardio advantage. So as long as this fight gets extended, he very well could get clipped and knocked out, but I think it's very close early, and if he gets this extended, it's his fight to win, essentially. So that's why I'm picking him as my pick, and I think he gets a late round, like a second round knockout. We look at the odds. Kevin's a minus 180 favorite, and Jean is plus 150. At this price, I'd probably say the side is Jean, but I'm much more interested in the unders on this fight. And the fight doesn't go to decision line, sitting at minus 250, which I like as a parlay piece. I think that's a very playable line. Neither guy has ever been finished, but I don't really think that matters. I also think this finish will happen early, so you see the under 1.5 sitting at plus 105. I think that's good look for a guy like Jean, who has only finished people in the first round. So I'm going to put a half unit on that. Next up, in our third fight of the evening, we have Chad Hanekom going against Dylan Budka. Dylan Budka is also coming here on short notice, and it's kind of concerning and like weird seeing these things. Like 9 days ago, he fought, which is like, okay, cool, but he's fighting at heavyweight, which doesn't make a lot of sense for me. He weighed in like 207 pounds at heavyweight, so it's like, what? So, but here he is fighting a middleweight fight, by the way, and in this matchup, Chad will have a massive size advantage. He has a 4-inch height advantage. And he also, like, in his experience, he went to a split decision with Ikram Aliskerov. It wasn't necessarily a deserved split decision, but a good fight. And he definitely won a round, I think. And I don't think Budka will have this massive wrestling advantage. Chad is very good wrestling and a good submission game, and Dylan has been submitted before, but that was a long time ago in his first career fight and in the third round, so I find it difficult for Chad to catch a submission, but as for a pick, you have to go with Chad here. I'm not all that confident in a method, but I do like the size, the experience. and the more prepared he probably is for this fight. We look at the line sitting at minus 135 for Chad, and Dylan sitting at plus 114. And then the fight goes to decision is sitting at minus 165. If there is a finish in this fight, I do think it is on the Chad side, but unfortunately there isn't a finish-only line out. But I do like the Chad side at this price tag. I definitely think he should be the favorite. So I'm going to put 0.75 units on his money line, saying minus 135. Next up, we got Sidey going against Ramon Taveras. And it's important to note that Taveras... let's look at these guys' records real quick. Sidey sitting at 34-22 in his career, whereas Ramon Taveras is sitting at 61-83. Neither of these guys are fighting the best and highest level competition, and there's far less experience on the Sidey guy, but at least he's fighting a lot more fighters with winning records. And it's also important to note in this fight that Taveras did have a really rough weight cut. He had to get on the scale multiple times in order to make weight, but eventually he did. And that's not good to see in a matchup where I do believe his cardio will be tested. I already believe that Sidey had a much better cardio, and I also believe that Sidey has a way better ground game than Taveras. So there's a clear path to victory there. And then on the feet, I do see Taveras having success. Taveras has a lot of power, knocks guys out, and I think that is his one method to victory is an early knockout, but I trust Sidey to get this fight extended, take Taveras to the ground, and then get a TKO, because Taveras has been knocked out before, but a sub is definitely on the table. So I'm going to stay away from the props. And then we look at the odds. The odds have Sidey minus 180, Taveras plus 150. I do like Sidey's money line, and I will have it in a parlay. And then we also see the fight doesn't go to decision, sitting at minus 190. I think that line is playable, but I'm not going to touch it. I don't have a great read on how good Taveras is on the ground and whether or not he gets finished down there. If Taveras wins, I do think it is by KO. Just kind of staying away from the props here. And then now we got the main event of the evening, which is a super sketchy fight, but let's get into it. We see Bruno Lopes with a career record of 56-35 combined, and Brendson Ribeiro 131-69. And as for how they're looking in their performances, I'm very impressed with Bruno Lopes. I believe he is a very good striker with a lot of power, and he has a good submission game and seems very strong and controlling on the ground, which is good to see. But the one thing I do question is he doesn't fight a whole lot. Like, I believe he took like a 6-year layoff and then comes back to fighting, gets like a couple easy fights, and pretty spread out, which is a little concerning. And then the other thing is he doesn't have the best striking defense and head movement, but so far his chin's held up and he's looked like he had a pretty good chin. And then on the other side of this fight, we got a much less durable man in Brendson Ribeiro. Brendson Ribeiro is very dangerous. He has a 100% finish rate, but he does take a lot of risks and leaves himself open to get encountered and makes mistakes on the mat. He's a big submission over position guy, which leads to him getting put in bad positions and getting finished down there, resulting in 2 KO losses and 2 submission losses. The pick here is Lopes by KO. I think he's very powerful on the feet and strong enough to get this fight to the ground and take advantage of Brendson's weak ground game. We look at the odds and we see Lopes as a minus 625 favorite, Brendson plus 455. That line's way wider than I expected. I would have expected a line much more similar to or maybe in the high three, like a 4 to 300 range, somewhere in there, maybe high 200s. This line here saying in minus 625 is unplayable in my opinion and super sketchy. I can't really tell how interested Lopes is in being a fighter. Like, he's 30 years old now, super inactive. I don't know, just kind of like a weird... Something rubs me the wrong way here. Brendson is a very dangerous fighter, so we see his inside the distance line sitting at plus 700. That's very interesting for a guy with a 100% finish rate, and like that is how he wins this fight. Lopes does have questionable cardio. I think this fight could get extended, and if it gets extended, Brendson's very live to finish this guy. Maybe round 2. I thought I saw round 2 sitting at like plus 1400. I do like the unders on this fight. The unders, this fight doesn't go to decision, sitting at minus 150. They're all chalky. I think the fight to end round 1 sitting as like minus 200 or minus 180 or something like that. I don't know. Something really rubs me the wrong way here, and I'm just going to stay away from this fight. But it should be a pretty interesting matchup and fun to watch. Someone's probably getting slept here. So I will give you this week's parlay as well. This week's parlay, we got Sidey money line at minus 180, parlayed up with Silva versus Kevin Vallejos. Fight doesn't go to decision, sitting at minus 250. That parlay comes out to about like plus 120, and I have 1 unit on it. Good luck this week, guys, and I hope you see you. Well, I'm excited for NFL this week, so we'll probably have some NFL bets out there, but good luck.